Depression has been an increasingly common mental health disorder in our society. In fact, according to the World Health Organization, depression has affected more than 264 million individuals globally. Whether it is due to the increasing exposure on mental health, or people becoming more honest with their mental well-being, depression has landed itself on the top 10 most common mental health disorders. However, some people may have taken this disorder out of context and started labeling every single negative emotion that they are feeling as depression, when in fact they are not actually having depression. Others may also see it as a trend to have depression and act in certain ways to fit the depressive criteria. Because of that, it can be very confusing to know if you actually do have depression, and it may lead to misdiagnosis, which is in fact very dangerous. So, how do you know if you actually have depression? The Diagnostic and Statistical Manual for Mental Disorders, 5th edition, or also known as a DSM-5, has categorized depression under mood disorders. It is known as major depressive disorder. The causes for depression are still uncertain, but it can stem from multiple factors. However, the symptoms of depression are clear. The criteria for major depressive disorder, or MDD, is that more than 5 of the following symptoms need to be present during a 2-week period simultaneously. First, you are feeling depressed almost the entire day, and this depressive episode exists nearly every day. You may experience feelings of sadness, emptiness, or hopelessness, and others may even comment that you look really down or on the verge of tears. For children and teenagers, this feeling may manifest differently, where they are more prone to irritable moods instead. Second, you lose interest in activities that give you pleasure, and this happens nearly every day. Perhaps that initially you love to read books, and you will spend every day going through your book collection. But if you were to go through a depressive episode, you stop reading. You don't find joy in reading anymore, and even trying to pick up a book brings you much dread. Third, you either eat too much or not eat at all. People who are experiencing depression have trouble with their appetites. Even if they are not undergoing any nutritional diets or exercise, their weight will drop significantly. On the other hand, they may end up binge eating and their weight will increase as well. Either way, it is a possible sign that you may be experiencing depression. Fourth, nearly every day you may sleep too much or have trouble sleeping. Much like how depression affects your appetite, it also affects your sleeping patterns. In certain cases, you may also experience sleeping off the entire day. But when it comes to the night, you have trouble sleeping despite feeling tired. There are also cases where you end up having restless sleep or disturbed sleep instead. Fifth, you may feel like you're running on adrenaline, or you feel like your movements and thoughts are slowing down almost every day. Depression not only affects your sleeping and eating behaviors, but also how you act. For some people, they may show signs of high anxiety, such as pacing around the room, restlessness, and even overthinking excessively. For others, they may end up feeling slow, sluggish, and have trouble to even produce an emotional reaction towards a situation. 6. Nearly every day, you feel extremely tired and have little to no energy. It has become to a point that you feel like every day has become a dread, and you find yourself even struggling to get out of bed. Those who are experiencing depression often find themselves in situations such as these. It takes them almost all their strength in order to get work done. 7th, you feel worthless and may feel an excessive amount of guilt, even if it's not your fault. It is not uncommon to find those who are experiencing depression to feel like they're the worst of the worst. For example, your friend may be experiencing a bad day, and they may blow up on you even though you did not do anything wrong. If you are feeling depressed, you will end up thinking that it must have been something that you did that triggered their outburst, even though the fault is clearly on them. You may end up feeling like a horrible person and are unworthy of whatever friendships that come your way. 8th, you find yourself having trouble to concentrate or unable to make decisions rationally. If you find yourself unable to concentrate, even on the simplest task, it is a sign that you may have depression. This is because depression also affects us on our mental processes, and not just biologically or emotionally. It hinders us from being able to mentally function at our top level, and for us to deal with the easiest mental processes will take us all our strength. Lastly, you find yourself thinking about death, making suicide plans, or even attempting to commit suicide. Among all the depressive symptoms, this symptom is the most severe one because it deals with our lives. People who are depressed often find themselves to be suicidal, and it can range from just the thought of it until severe suicidal tendencies, such as making plans on how to die. If you find yourself thinking about this almost every day, it is a clear sign that you may be depressed. So, these are the signs of true depression, which, once again, at least 5 of these signs need to be prevalent simultaneously for at least 2 weeks. However, if you are experiencing any sorts of the signs above, even if just one of them, please do not hesitate to seek help. Depression is not something to be taken lightly, and any sort of negative emotions are valid. So, even if you think you are not having depression, or you think you do not fit at least 5 signs, whatever the case is, please seek help. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.